Okay, your girl coming in with a lie. The only reason why I say it's not gonna be long, my nose is all stuffed up. But the weather's been getting better. Hopefully it stays that way so it don't flip-flop and just keep making me feel all some type of way. But blessings, everyone. Sorry about that. Blessings. We're going to talk about this topic tonight, even though I wanted to talk about a couple of things. I'm going to let a little bit more information come out before I mention anything more on this latest, case that's going on right now. You guys know what it is. All right, so let's get into it. We're just gonna call it a Narc topic because I'm just gonna cover a couple things in this one video. I'm not gonna do two tonight, so we're gonna call it a Narc topic. We're first gonna talk about the type of people that narcs go after because it suits them better, and I'll tell you why. I've said it before, must just mention it again. Narcs love to go after people in relationships, committed relationships, and married people, especially married people. Because with married people, especially people that have been married for a long time, they know as well, because they've probably been married as well or in a long committed relationship. But they know that people that's in long committed relationships or married, they're bored, they're tired of each other or whatever, and the narc feels like that's their opportunity to get in and spice up somebody's life in that marriage, whether it's a male or a female. And they choose to do this because they don't have to stay there. They don't have to stay there. They can, and they also like to destroy other people's relationships as well as their own. So let me not forget that. But they choose these relationships because they know they're not going to be there. So they don't give a if the person gets caught or not. They don't care at all. They're like, oh, that's your problem. I'm going to go away. But they do that because they know that some of these people that's married, I don't know no percentage because I have never been married, but I can understand it. They know that these people, well, I can understand it from just being with a knock. Like, oh, I wish I could have anything other than this. Fire. Eureka! Your girl just hit it. I'd rather be anything other than this. So some people are like that. Like, when they first get married, it's all honeymoons and sparkles and stars and shiny lights and all that. It doesn't matter who, dimmed the light in the relationship. The narc comes in and they spice it up for that person. So not only that they spice it up for that person actually spices up everything for the spouse. Because now they're doing something behind the spouse's back because they're bored or they're lonely or they're neglected. You got some of these gigolos that's out there, women too, that be like, oh, I look for these thirsty women, these plain Jane women, that's been stuck in a marriage with all these kids, or I look for the big fat blubber guy that, his wife, she doesn't do this, she doesn't do that, and, he got money. So each one of them is a target for the narc. So the narc comes in and turns it up, give them what they want, and they're feeling themselves. Some of them get to the point where they're feeling themselves that they'll risk leaving their spouse and their kids for the narc. Ooh, that's a no-no. That's a no-no because that backfire all the way up. Just blew it up. That's backfire like I'm talking about hoopty with no muffler. I don't know how you can backfire without a muffler, but the narcs find a way. A hoopty with no muffler. That's how it backfire. So they be feeling some type of special. May go on a trip or two with the narc. Have all this hot sex and everything with the narc. And they're feeling beautiful or handsome again. And then they go home and they're feeling guilty. So they might spice it up a little bit with the wife or the husband. but they doing too much, because then they'll start doing things that they're doing with the narc to the wife or the husband. They're like, we ain't never do this. Yeah, trust me, I know why I'm saying that. Trust me. Because when a narc comes home and they're doing something with you that they never did before, trust me. They got that somewhere out in the street. Narcs are for the streets. Narcs are the streets. Narcs... Sorry. Narcs should just go lay down in the street and let cars run them over, because they are for the streets. There's nothing they won't do. They're nasty and disgusting. They're nasty and disgusting. I watched this video with they call her Grandma Narc-aware or something like that. And she's like, oh, Narcs are gay. I gotta finish watching her video. But she right. Because I don't know what's with them. Like, everybody, I don't know. I won't say everybody. A lot of people love sex. But not that much. Not that much. That you gotta think about it all day, every day. You just gotta go do it with anybody. Just nasty. Collectors. There are germs and disease collectors. That is what they do. That's what they do. They just nasty. And you don't want to have that touching you. Like I said in another video, like when I wasn't narc-aware at the time, but when I became fed up, I never wanted that thing to touch me. Like I said, I'm not always talking about one narc, but this one narc, I never wanted that thing to touch me. I was grossed out. And I said it before. It was times that I would throw up, even if it touched my hand. Even if it touched my hand, I would throw up. Even thinking about it, I would throw up. So let's go. That's their main targets. They love to tear up a whole nother relationship, because they don't care about the relationship they're in. That the relationship they're in is nothing. It's nothing. But they're having a fun, good old time destroying somebody else's. Although they're never going to be there. Never going to be there. Also, we're going to talk about the family. Let's talk about the family for a little bit. And I only came up with this one on my own. And if anybody think different, you can always comment. I think that most, and y'all hear me, because I ain't do no survey about this, I know why I'm saying this. I think that most family members that have a large family, like, where it's, I would say, I'm pushing it with 3 kids, but I'm going to say more than 3 kids, but I'm pushing it. 2 kids, all right. I'm pushing it with 3. But a large family where 6, 7, 8, 9 of y'all, I guarantee you, 1 or more of them are going to be a narc. And you want to know why? Because the mother or the father, or maybe it's a single mother, maybe it's a single father, which is unlikely, but things happen. They're not going to all get the same attention. And some kids fight for attention, which also becomes the mom or dad's favorite, the golden child or whatever. But they're all not going to get the same attention. They're all not going to have the same talent. They're all not going to be the same. So you'll have that parent, whether they're narc or not, you will have that parent that would give 1 or 2 or 3 of them way more attention and love than the other ones, so the other ones have to defend for themselves. Trust me, I know a large family. I know a large family that I ain't even gonna lie, it's like what, 8 or 9 of them? Only 2 of them are not narcs. Only 2 of them are not narcs. The oldest one, and then the one that's somewhat in the middle. But the rest of them, they just nasty. They just nasty. And they passed on the narc evil trait over to their kids. But not the way you think. The kids just became messed up from the abuse that they got from the parent. Messed them up. Messed them up. They might have been getting beatings or disciplined, when it wasn't all that serious. And you know how narcs is, they gotta take it out on someone, so they take it out on their kids. I guarantee you, more than 3 kids, somebody's going to be a narc. Now, I know somebody's like, well, how many siblings you got? Okay, it's 4 of us. I am the oldest, okay? But the difference between and I ain't making no excuses. We got a big age difference. So, me and my brother are way older than the other 2. So, we didn't really grow up with them. By the time they were there, we both was... My brother was almost an adult, but I was an adult. So, it is what it is. I love my brothers and sisters. It is what it is. But I'm just, just so people be like, well, what about you? That's about me. But let me say one thing about me. My mother, with me and my brother, it was just me and my brother. And then my younger 2 siblings, it was just them 2. So we was out the way. Maybe that works with some other family members, but it still don't matter. A large family, more than 3, always have a narco 2 in the family. Because you can't spread that all around. And some parents just don't want to. Me personally, biologically, I have 2. It was easy to spread that love. I knew I didn't want more than 2. So didn't. Nothing. And God blessed me with a girl and a boy. So it was 2 different things. God blessed me even more that made sure that my son was the oldest, my daughter was the baby. So if anything, she should have been an narc because her older brother spoiled her dad and me because she was the baby. But, she's a really good, sweet daughter. That's my mini-me. But she still try to pull... she still be trying to pull stuff with her little baby act. But I just want to make that point about large families. It's always going to be 1 or 2 narcs in that family. Okay? I also want to talk about that unsettled narc inspired by T on MPD. Because when she started talking, I'm like, ooh, I just got to talk on that subject. She talked about it different, but I'm going to talk about it my way because I'm going to talk about my personal experience. So it's not like, you copy somebody. I ain't copying anybody. But we're going to talk about that unsettled narc, that OCD narc. I never can quite understand what the hell is this? So basically it would be like that OCD narc, and it gets deeper. Stick with me. That narc that, let's say you guys had something that you were going to do and you were going to leave at a certain time. And maybe you're running just a little bit late. Maybe you got home from work a little bit late and you want to change clothes for whatever it is that you wanted to do. And that OCD narc is like, oh, it's time. What's taking you so long? And you're like, I'm just changing clothes. I'm going to be ready in a minute. Instead of just sitting and relaxing, waiting for you to get ready, they would just sit there and got to go find something to do. They got to go find... I remember this one particular narc, this disgusting narc. Like, every time I needed a little bit more time because, they not rushing because they want to be on time. They rushing to pressure you. And you know how some people will be like, you could come between this time and that time, but they feel like they got to come with the first time so that, you guys won't be late, but it ain't even that important. A barbecue party? Are you kidding me? I'm trying to get there as close as when the food is done. But they're not going to get there when they put the meat fresh on the grill. So now you got to sit there and have communication and conversation and all this stuff while the food is still cooking. And they're kind of like, well, you could have came like at this time because, things are not ready. Because they're not like to rush everybody. They like to rush everybody on purpose because they got to keep occupying their mind. So I remember this one narc. Every time it got to the point that we were going out the door and I had to take a few more extra minutes, they had to do something. Load the dishwasher, vacuum the house, sweep the floor, whatever. Now, let me tell you guys this thing. They didn't never clean up. They never did when it came to and what they do is they do that because they don't want to sit there and manifest any thoughts in their mind, because you never know where you're going or whatever. Where you're going, what the hell? I don't know why it's so dark. You know, it could be somebody they dealt with, or whatever they rushing to get to, or what they're punk. No sense to be rushing. So this narc used to be like, you know, start the dishwasher, sweeping the floor, vacuuming and everything while I'm getting ready. And I can't get ready properly because they're rushing me. And me being me, if the devil is always in my phone, it's the narc. And I will be rushing. They will be rushing. I would just sit down and wait. But they can't do that. They can't do that. Their minds is always going and going. So they know if they sit still without tormented, they're always going to be tormented. Wait till they get to hell. They're always going to be tormented. Okay? So I never could understand, like, I always called it OCD, but it wasn't OCD because the narc never cleaned up. It was only when we were going somewhere and we had to be there, they would just be rushing, but they couldn't be unsettled. I remember always talking to this one particular narc. Every time we went somewhere or whatever, we had to wait. Like, let's say we went to dinner and we had to wait. Always in the phone. Always in the phone. Because, and they can never have peace because they're a devil. They're a seed of Satan. So they can never have peace. And we would go places, and if we had made reservations or whatever, this narc always thought that when they got there, I supposed to be like seated, but they don't know when they're estimating wait time at a restaurant. They're just estimating how long it would take somebody to eat and chop up, you know, some communication or whatever, or maybe it's crowded. But the narc feels like as soon as they walk through the door, they have to go sit down. And so now you're waiting, they're in there, you're something. They just can never sit there. Dinner with. Do you think I know this narc was like praising Satan when technology changed? Because before technology, this old fart ass narc. When technology changed, it was right up the narc alley. And so you would think that when you're with someone, have a conversation, but not a narc. That OCD narc. It's not even really OCD. I'm just using that because they're just trying to occupy the evil thoughts and everything that's going through the demons and everything that's going through their mind. So they have to keep doing something. This narc was so stupid and dumb. Some of these narcs are so stupid and dumb, but this one was so stupid and dumb, couldn't even drive. You would think that driving will occupy your time, where you're focusing, where you're driving so you're focusing to be careful. This narc was so good at being a narc. It knew how to play games in the phone. It knew how to text people in the phone. Although I'm not going to say it stayed in a straight line. But when we came to dinner, I'd be like, do you think we can just phones? Like, I never understood why we couldn't just have a conversation. Why you always got to pick up your phone? Because they're trying to distract these demons. They're trying to distract the demons in their mind. And I hated that because before this narc, I never experienced anything with this narc. This was the worst narc I ever had in my life, although I had so many. This was the worst life. Like, we couldn't have dinner without that. We couldn't even do anything. And even when they're driving, they got to drive all radical and crazy and jump the curb and stupid stuff, run lights, all type of things to keep distracting their mind. And you would, like I said, you would think that driving is enough to distract your mind because you're paying attention. They just cannot do that. This unsettled narc, they always got to do something. This OCD narc. And I've been watching these OCD commercials on the YouTube, and I thought it was just somebody that's just trying to be clean. It's something else. So not only that they are narc, they got that, and that's a medical condition. And the lady did the whole commercial like it's a unbreathing condition or whatever. So now they got that on top of them. They just cannot sit still. They cannot be alone. They just cannot sit still. And anybody that they get with, some of y'all I'll be feeling sorry for. I know a narc right now that got somebody that I was talking to someone. They was like, oh no, but he got her in check. He don't take that. And I'm like, no. As soon as that person get way more attention or maybe even slightly look better than him, it's a wrap. They always searching for something. They never was settled down. And if I know what I know right now, I would have left the house a nasty ass mess. I would have left the house a nasty ass mess and pretended like I was not ready. Because what this narc that I'm talking about would purposely mess up everything because I don't like a nasty house. So I always would clean. And I'm like, how in the hell it's just us two and I'm running the dishwasher 4 times a day? Why we do that at? Okay, the narc was doing that on purpose. So if I know what I know right now, I would have never done nothing. And I would have purposely been like, I need to get ready. And that narc would have had it done in 2.2 seconds with the OCD. They cannot sit still. Another thing I want to tell you guys, the way you came in, let's skip that. The way you came in with the narc is not going to be the way you leave after the narc. Bad news is they tear you apart. They destroy who you are and what you was. Good news is if you find God, you better and you are new and approved. But they still a narc. I'm going to have to say this one thing that, really was hard for me. So me and Self had to talk, and I'm like, Self, and Self said, and then me and Self, and then Self, and God said, you need to listen to Self, because I'm speaking to Self through you. You have to forgive them. Because if you don't forgive them, God cannot forgive you. God say forgive them because that's not our job. That's God's job. And what God gonna do to them, they already know. They just nasty. And when I say nasty, it's not just their behavior. They just nasty. They would put that on anything. They would insert anything. They would do anything. And don't have a business relationship with them. Because most of them, they'll have a business relationship with someone and they get comfortable and them and their partner become friends, and whether it's both of them or one of them cheating, and they keep this business relationship. How in the hell can you trust somebody that you know will backstab their own wife, their own husband, and have a business relationship with them and think that they won't do it to you? Now, did I just creep up on you? Better go check them records. It's tax season time. Better go check them records because your business partner is stealing, lying. That's what they do. That's what they do. They are thieves. They're thieves. You're never gonna get with a narc that's not a thief. And then when like I said, they go to married couples, sometimes they don't. This narc that I know went to try to hurt me and try to get with someone that was close to me. It worked because it's a Jezebel. Okay? It's a Jezebel. And the narc would never trust a Jezebel that know that they're backstabbing you. And I was thinking like, oh, every time I'm late, you go into your OCD thing. And this Jezebel was someone that had to spend hours in the mirror. Hours in the mirror, sleeping with their makeup on, and still spend hours in the mirror, which would cause the narc to wait. But the narc decided that that's who they wanted. So I don't even know where that went. I really don't. Because the Jezebel had to keep doing the makeup and all that stuff and never was on time. Never was on time. Missing flights, planes, trains, and automobiles. All that. So, in my mind, I'm thinking like, narc, whatever, because when I'm late, narc, yeah. It was just to hurt you. When they do that, it's just to hurt you. So you're thinking like, well, yeah, you're not going to want to deal with that person because they always got to, you be in the mirror all day and you know how you always want to be on time and blah, blah, blah. You're going to have to wait for this narc and blah, 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 blah. I'll tell you what happened. Holy Spirit is so good. I'll tell you what happened. Every time, every second, every minute that Jezebel made the narc wait, that Jezebel had to pay for it. Had to pay for it. Because I'm just thinking like, I had to wait for this backstabbing roach many, many times to do way more important things. Like I said, missing flights, planes, buses, trains, automobiles. How's this going to work for you? Well, you can't even wait for me for 2 seconds without vacuuming and starting the dishwasher and whatever. But you decide to do what you're going to do. They do that. They do what they're going to do to try to hurt you. And they sign up a deal with the Jezebel. How would that work? And the narc used to be like, oh... I'm trying to think of an example. Oh, I like you when you wear pink. Or I like when you wear purple. Or I like when you... And then you just, I don't like them colors. Now, don't get me wrong. I like pink. I like red. I like blue. But I'm using that for example. And the narc would be like, I don't like those colors. Why don't you try this and try that? This is how you know that the Jezebel is the... new supply. Because the narc would tell that trick, or I don't know what you call a man, but the other person, the narc would tell the other person like, oh, maybe you have dreads. And the narc would be like, I wonder how it looks if you have a haircut. Now, they don't know that dreads are a spiritual thing. It's deeper than a hairstyle. We're not going to go into that. But dreads are deeper than a hairstyle. So, maybe the new supply had dreads. And, the snake supply had dreads. And the narc could be like, oh, I wonder how you would look without those nappy dreads. Or whatever. So, they talk to new supply into cutting off their dreads. Like Samson. That can be your lifeline. And... what the fake supply would do that narc is trying to hurt you with, they will cut off their dreads and then send you a picture and be like, oh, like this? I cut off my dress. Or, oh, I'm not wearing pink anymore. How do you like this color on me? And the narc had already told you that because maybe you wore dreads. Maybe you wore pink. But you're like, I ain't that. No, my religion is this. That ain't what I'm going to do. And then they want your opinion to please your narc. And look stupid as hell when they do it. Where your narc at now? Where your narc at now? They will go so far to saying that it can be your single friend or your single homie, and they're dating your narc, and they'll be like, you know, they always been single, and they be like, oh, I finally found somebody. And they be like, and you be like, oh, good for you. And you know, your narc, they like neutral with this person. And you be like, babe, such and such found somebody. And you be like, who's somebody? You know, just come up with some weird, random ass name out the top of their brain. And the whole entire time it's your narc. The whole entire time it's your narc. And then when they start getting devalued, they come to you complaining about your narc. Like, yeah, I was dating such. It's your narc. So, how you feel about cutting your dreads and deal with that narc talked you into, and you sent that narc a picture, and now they just laughing at you. Just laughing at you. Cause you needed your dreads because you didn't look good without the dreads. Or whatever. You didn't look good. They just made you do something that you didn't even want to do. I'm going to end this. I never understood that OCD narc. I never understood that OCD narc. Like, damn, every time it's time to go, you got to go grab the vacuum cleaner or the broom or the dishwasher, and you got to be doing. Go sit your ass down. Go sit down. But they can't go sit down because them demons is always in their head. And then when you go and they don't have a new supply, the old supply is back there. They could have been married, divorced, and they took back the person that they divorced, pretending that they're still married because they done messed up the other person, and the other person just like, well, I'm so messed up, might as well go back to the narc. Or the narc didn't sew up a new supply, and so they had to take back the old supply. Or that supply they just had to sleep on her makeup or whatever to look beautiful. I don't know how to say it with a man. They just had to take the old supply back because they weren't ready. Excuse me. They weren't ready. And they get what they deserve. Oh, Beetlejuice looking. Like, look, I gotta stop. Like, Beetlejuice looking. Crackhead smoking. We wanna be coke snorting from here to Texas. Fat supply. Ha! That's what they do. That's what they do. Like I said in my last videos, all narcs are deleters. They all deleters because stress deletes you. And that's all they're causing you. And when you go back and think about the stupid, petty ish that you went through with them, you just be like, why and how did I do? What? When you out, it doesn't even really matter. It doesn't even really matter because they got to live with their self. They got to live with their secrets. They got to live with their lies. They got to live with their torments. And they got to live with their childhood. Whatever caused them to be a narc. And those sexual narcs, y'all don't even know. Y'all fire. Boom, boom. Y'all don't even want to know why they so sexual. And the nasty, evil things that people did to them or they did to people. It gets so sick. I can't even say it right now. It gets so sick that they would with their Oh, they are so sick. Red flag all day, all day, all day. When they get so comfortable sexually, somebody, and it could have been a mother, their father, their siblings, all day. It could have just been them. It just could have been them. But my discernment tells me some of the narcs that I dealt with, I already know. So with that being said, I hope this helps somebody. I really do hope that this helps somebody. Because these narcs, we call them narcs, but they are Satan's kids. They're nasty, they're disgusting, and they're evil, and you cannot put nothing past them. Good night. Be blessed.